Good morning and welcome to Morning Java, brought to you as always by Get Go Cafe and Market. Where right now, Hunter, they're still doing the Captain's Sandwich. You can get 7 inches of a good fish sandwich.
I love it, man. I just got it yesterday. I literally did. I've got this fish like 4 or 5 times since they've been running this deal. It's good fish. I know everybody's like, oh, gas station fish. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
It's a different life.
Try it. Just try it. If you like fried fish, you're going to like it.
I feel you. Well, Hunter, we're here to talk. We're just 2 weeks from the NFL draft, when everyone's going to finally know who the Steelers and everyone else is adding to their rosters for the 2019 NFL season. It's a very pumped up time to be involved in football.
It is, man. And what's exciting for the Steelers is they've done a little more in free agency than usual to kind of, they don't have to go with any position in the first round this year. And that's really exciting, I think. But you still look at that inside linebacker position, man. How realistic is it that they get one of the 2 Devons? Those are the guys right now.
So, of course, Devin White and Devin Bush, the 2 top guys. Devin White is a top 10 prospect. If he makes it to the 10th pick, it's going to be insane. People are going to be freaking out. What's going on here? Why hasn't he been picked? I have him going at the latest at 6 or 7. But Devin Bush is the question mark. Devin Bush out of Michigan, he's smaller, quicker, more sideline side. He's more instinctual, but a lot of teams like him because he has that leader mentality. So I don't think, to answer your question, I don't think it's too realistic to expect him to continue to fall. I think some team is going to say, especially in this NFL, we need a cover linebacker that's a prime playmaker in the middle of the field. Devin Bush fits that bill. It's going to be tough for the Steelers to get him without moving up. If they get him, great, but it's going to be a push. But I still think that inside linebacker is the priority for the first round.
So, Carter, you do your little classroom series, man, which everybody loves. I personally love reading it because I learn a lot with it. It keeps me up to date.
Oh, that's cool.
And you wrote a couple weeks ago, Devin Bush, you said Devin Bush, Devin White, Steelers have to trade up for one of these guys. Like, that was your main focus. If they don't trade up, you know, you feel like they kind of lost the draft a little bit. Are you coming down from that ledge a little bit, or are you okay with the other options?
Actually, if you read the bottom of the article, because the other thing was my trade up clause was they either trade up for one of those guys, or if they don't get one of them, they're going to have to trade up to get Mack Wilson in the second. Because I don't see Mack Wilson, Alabama's inside linebacker. He had, I think, 7 interceptions over the past couple seasons. He isn't nearly as fast or as athletic as those guys, but his ball skills in the middle of the field show a guy like, you know what, he's worth a shot at to become your starter as an inside linebacker. But the problem is, he's not worth the 20th pick, but he's not going to last until the 20th pick of the second round. So that's where my stand on trading up is. Either they trade up to get one of those guys, or they trade up to get Mack Wilson in the second. I just think that it's going to be hard to wait for him to fall that low. There's some people projected him to be included in the bottom of the first round. So I think that's a realistic expectation. I'm not really coming. My position has stayed true about that. I think that the Steelers, they're in a position. They had 10 draft picks to choose from. You're not going to use all those 10 draft picks to add to your roster next season. Trade some of those guys, use them to get capital. If you can't move up into the top 10 or the top 15 to make sure you get Devin Bush, then you use that to move up in the second round, which will be a lot cheaper. You can get rid of the 5th round pick you got from the Raiders. You can get rid of the pick you got for Marcus Gilbert, and I think teams will go for that.
To kind of put a bow on this, though, you don't feel that Mark Barron and Vince Williams are enough to head into the season with them. You want to see somebody brought in.
I think they need at least someone to add to the depth to at least spell. Mark Barron's going to be a good guy on third downs. He's going to be a good guy to put in there to know what the defense is going on. But they need a spark plug. They need a guy that's going to be a playmaker. Mark Barron's a good guy that's going to do his job well. He's not going to flip games on its heel like Ryan Shazier did. They need a guy that's going to bring the pop or bring the immaculate sort of interception, just jumping back and doing things that quarterbacks can't anticipate, which is something that they haven't had in the middle of the field for quite some time.
So, Carter, we talk a lot about trading up in the draft, and we both kind of feel that the Steelers are at least going to try to do that. Whether or not it actually happens is a different story. And the last time they really pulled this off was when they went up to get Troy Polamalu.
Right.
We know how that pick worked out.
Yeah.
I believe it was their 1st round pick, their 3rd round pick, and their 6th round pick that year to move up to,
I think it was up to 16.
16?
Yeah, I think it was
right around there.
Yeah.
So it's right around where they're going to need to go to get Devin Bush probably.
Right.
Is Devin Bush Troy Polamalu caliber?
I mean, that's a high bill for anyone to reach.
Right.
Chances are no. But at the same time, like a lot of people look, oh, only had one interception in his entire collegiate career. You know who also had only one interception? Ryan Shazier. The thing is with college players, I mean, people looked at Troy Polamalu and they said, he's a little too wild. He doesn't have this. He doesn't have that. But you saw the plays that he made. You saw the abilities that he had, and you saw he didn't strike gold as soon as he stepped into the league. It took him a couple years before everyone was like, oh, that's why they picked him. They traded up to get him. I'm not going to say Devin Bush is going to be Troy Polamalu. I do think that he is going to be of this class of NFL cover linebackers that are taking over the league. I mean, a few years ago, the reason that the Steelers were looking very good going into the season where they lost to the Jaguars in the playoffs is because Ryan Shazier was ahead of the class of the Telvin Smiths, of the Deion Jones, of the Bobby Wagners. There's all these, and including Mark Barron was on the list of guys that had the most passes defensed and interceptions of inside linebackers. Having that kind of player on your defense allows your coordinator to scheme up a lot of things to confuse quarterbacks and to take away multiple options that offenses rely on. That's where Devin Bush can come in. Even if he's not the insane guy that has the scooping one-handed catches or goes back on a receiver 80 yards downfield and snags an interception over that. If he's the guy that goes sideline to sideline, takes away your tight end, takes away the running back, and then jumps into a shallow cross and intercepts it and takes it back 30 yards, that adds a whole lot of value to your defense, and that would be worth what they paid to get Polamalu back then in this day and age. Yeah,
I absolutely agree with you. And one part that kind of gives me a little pause on all this is I'm wondering, do you feel like the Steelers organization, the way it's currently structured, with Keith Butler, the defensive coordinator, can they develop a Devin Bush the same way that Polamalu was able to develop in that system?
I mean, Troy's a different animal in that Dick LeBeau said, we just tell him to go. I mean, if you read the way that they talk, Ryan Clark's like, I don't know what he's doing half the time because he was so instinctual. So Polamalu will be different, but they can definitely get a guy if he's athletic enough to be that X factor guy, to be in the middle of the field. We're expecting you to do this responsibility and this. That's what Ryan Shazier was, and he excelled here. His rookie season, you were like, maybe he's okay. Oh, he's getting a little bit better. Than his second year, you're like, okay, yeah, we like Ryan Shazier. I think he's of that caliber. I'm not going to say he's going to be as good as Ryan Shazier was before he got hurt. I am going to say that Devin Bush is along the lines of the guy that can be a game changer in the NFL and a person that the defense can rely on and be a centerpiece moving forward.